The directive was clear. Locate the ancient weapon, an artifact of legend known to shape the fate of entire civilizations. The Alvaran Empire, a technologically advanced species with an unquenchable thirst for power, dispatched their most elite crew of scouts, scientists, and soldiers to the desolate reaches of a forgotten solar system. The prize? A mythical weapon known simply as human. The crew, led by Captain Xellor, was skeptical. Stories of the human were often dismissed as myths, exaggerated tales meant to deter enemies. But the Empire's intelligence suggested otherwise. Old, decrypted signals and records hinted at the existence of a powerful force, unmatched in the galaxy, buried on a primitive blue planet called Earth. Xellor's orders were to investigate, assess the threat, and, if possible, secure the weapon for the Empire. After months of travel, the Alvaran ship, sleek and menacing, descended into Earth's orbit. The initial scans showed nothing remarkable. A world teeming with life, primitive civilizations, and no sign of any advanced weaponry. As the team landed, they were surprised by the lush landscapes and bustling cities. The humans themselves seemed ordinary, soft-skinned, biologically weak compared to the muscular Alvarans, and reliant on outdated technology. There was no indication of a weapon capable of altering galactic power balances. The first contact was cautious but oddly straightforward. Humans greeted them with a mix of curiosity and cautious optimism. Despite the initial awkwardness, the Alvarans were treated as dignitaries, with humans eager to share their culture, achievements, and hospitality. Yet, something felt off to Captain Xellor. There were no signs of the weapon they sought, no hidden bunkers or military fortresses housing untold power. As the days passed, they were shown monuments of human history. Wars, revolutions, art in progress. Dr. Kreel, the team's lead scientist, was the first to notice the anomaly. After extensive analysis of human physiology and technology, he realized that the weapon wasn't a physical object, but something more abstract and far more dangerous. It was the humans themselves. Their unpredictable nature, capacity for innovation, and fierce determination in the face of adversity were what the Empire had feared. The humans were relentless in their drive to adapt, overcome, and thrive. They were survivors, shaped by countless generations of struggle, conflict, and discovery. In simulated combat scenarios, humans outperformed predictions. They were resourceful, unpredictable, and defied conventional military logic. Unlike the regimented and highly disciplined Alvarans, humans fought with a chaotic blend of strategy, passion, and desperation. They were capable of turning even the most hopeless situation into a victory through sheer willpower and creativity. The Empire's greatest minds had underestimated them. Captain Xellor's mission took a darker turn as it became evident that the humans were the ultimate weapon, a force capable of resisting, defying, and even overpowering the most advanced foes through unconventional means. It wasn't their strength, but their resilience and ingenuity that made them dangerous. The realization struck Xellor with a mixture of awe and dread. As Xellor prepared to report back to the Empire, a deeper conflict brewed within him. To inform the Alvarans of this discovery would be to mark humanity as a target, one the Empire would seek to control, exploit, or destroy. But to withhold this information would be treason, risking his career and life. Torn between duty and a newfound respect for humanity, Xellor faced a choice that would shape the future of both species. In the end, Xellor made a fateful decision. He transmitted a report that downplayed the threat, describing Earth as a quaint but ultimately unremarkable world. The Empire, eager to move on to more promising conquests, diverted its attention elsewhere. Humanity was safe, at least for now. As the Alvaran ship departed, Xellor couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. He knew the truth. The humans were not just another species to be cataloged or conquered. They were a force unlike any other, one that, if provoked, could change the galaxy forever. The so-called weapon was no ancient artifact, but a living, breathing embodiment of defiance and hope. The Alvarans had come searching for power and found something far more profound. As the stars swallowed their ship, Xellor hoped his people would never fully understand the depth of their discovery, for in the heart of every human beat the most unpredictable and unstoppable force the galaxy had ever known. The Empire would continue its search for power across the stars, unaware that the greatest weapon lay hidden in plain sight on a small blue planet, waiting for the day it might be unleashed. Back on Earth, life returned to its usual rhythm, blissfully unaware of the close call. Humans carried on with their daily struggles and triumphs, oblivious of the galactic threat that had nearly descended upon them. Yet, beneath the surface, subtle changes were taking place. The Alvaran visit had not gone unnoticed by a select few humans. Those who watched the skies, those who studied anomalies, and those who could sense the shifting tides of history even without understanding the full picture. One such individual was Dr. Elena Morris, a scientist with a reputation for uncovering the unexplainable. She had been tracking unusual signals and cosmic disturbances long before the Alvarans arrived. When the alien ship landed, she knew this was no ordinary encounter. While governments around the world kept their interactions with the Alvarans tightly controlled, Dr. Morris worked tirelessly in secret, piecing together data and observations that painted a different story. Through hacked transmissions, covert observations, and her own scientific intuition, Morris realized the Alvarans had been searching for something powerful enough to warrant an interstellar mission. And though the aliens had left without incident, she felt a lingering sense of urgency. The Alvarans' departure wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's relationship with the cosmos. Driven by this knowledge, Morris founded a covert initiative called Project Dawnwatch, gathering like-minded scientists, military strategists, and thinkers from around the world. Their mission: to prepare humanity for what was coming. They trained in new combat strategies, reverse-engineered alien technology, and studied human history's greatest triumphs and failures. They knew humanity's strength lay not just in its technological advancements, but in its capacity to adapt, innovate, and unite under pressure. Meanwhile, Captain Xellor returned to the Alvaran homeworld, his mind haunted by what he had discovered. He couldn't forget the humans, their spirit, their unpredictability, their fierce individuality. Against orders, he began his own secret research, diving into ancient archives, old war records, and every scrap of data the Empire had ever collected on humanity. What he found only deepened his respect and his fear. The humans were different from any species the Alvarans had ever encountered. They were a paradox, fragile yet unbreakable, peaceful yet capable of immense destruction. Xellor knew that the Empire would eventually realize what he had hidden from them. When that day came, the Alvarans would be back, but they wouldn't come as explorers. They would come as conquerors. Xellor's secret admiration for humanity turned into a quiet resolve. He began to subtly influence imperial policies, advocating for more caution, more diplomacy, and less aggression toward unknown species. He knew it was only a matter of time before his deception was discovered, but he hoped to delay the inevitable conflict as long as possible. Back on Earth, Project Dawnwatch grew in scope and ambition. Dr. Morris and her team worked in the shadows, quietly preparing humanity for a future where they might have to defend not just their home, but their very existence. They forged alliances, developed new technologies, and most importantly, nurtured the indomitable human spirit that had so captivated Captain Xellor. They knew that humanity's greatest weapon was not something that could be wielded or controlled. It was a collective will of billions, each striving to survive, thrive, and push beyond the limits of what was possible. As years passed, whispers of alien encounters, strange disappearances, and unexplainable phenomena became more common. Humanity was on the brink of a new era, standing at the threshold of the stars. The Alvaran Empire watched from afar, wary and uncertain. Xellor's warnings had tempered their ambitions, but they were a proud and powerful civilization, unaccustomed to retreat. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen when the two most unpredictable forces in the universe finally collided. And so, the stage was set for a confrontation that would define the fate of countless worlds. Humanity, the so-called ancient weapon, was readying itself for whatever came next. It was no longer a question of if, but when. The Alvarans had come seeking dominance, but what they found was something far more dangerous. A species that refused to be defined, contained, or conquered. For in the vast, uncharted expanse of the universe, one truth remained. The greatest power wasn't in weapons or technology, but in the resilience of those who refused to back down. Humanity was a wild card in a galaxy of certainties, and they were just getting started. The Alvarans, and any others who dared to challenge them, would soon learn that there was no force more formidable than a united, determined human race. The countdown to a new chapter in galactic history had begun, and humanity was ready to write it on their own terms. Years passed, and Project Dawnwatch grew from a hidden initiative into a global movement. Quietly, Dr. Morris and her team expanded their network, drawing in brilliant minds from every corner of the Earth. They built secret research facilities, trained operatives in the art of asymmetric warfare, and pushed the boundaries of human innovation to new heights. They were preparing for a conflict that most of humanity still didn't even know was on the horizon. Among their greatest achievements was the development of a new kind of starship, one unlike anything the world had ever seen. Designed using reverse-engineered Alvaran technology and powered by breakthroughs in quantum physics, the ship was faster, stealthier, and more versatile than any other craft in existence. Dubbed the Archangel, it was humanity's first true interstellar warship, a symbol of Earth's newfound determination to not just survive, but to stand equal among the stars. Captain Xellor, now an influential voice within the Alvaran military, watched these developments from afar with a mixture of dread and admiration. His discreet efforts to delay a full-scale confrontation between the Empire and humanity had bought precious time, but he knew that the clock was running out. The Alvaran Council, driven by pride and fear of losing their status, was growing increasingly restless. They couldn't ignore humanity's rapid advancements or the whispers of a new human fleet being tested on the fringes of the solar system. In a last-ditch effort to avert a war, Xellor secretly reached out to Dr. Morris through a series of encrypted messages. He revealed his identity and his role in the original mission to Earth, confessing that he had concealed the true potential of humanity from his superiors. Xellor pleaded for a clandestine meeting, hoping to forge an unlikely alliance between himself and the very species he had once been sent to assess as a threat. Morris, skeptical but intrigued, agreed to meet. The two leaders, a human scientist and an alien captain, sat across from each other in a remote asteroid outpost, a place where no one from either civilization would think to look. The tension in the room was palpable, but both knew that the stakes were too high to let old fears and prejudices dictate the future. Xellor spoke of the growing unrest within the Alvaran Empire, of factions pushing for war to reassert their dominance. He warned that without a show of strength, humanity would soon face an invasion they could not hope to repel. But he also saw an opportunity. If Earth could demonstrate its resolve and technological prowess, it might force the Empire to reconsider open conflict in favor of negotiation. Dr. Morris listened intently, her mind racing with the implications. She knew that humanity wasn't ready for an all-out war against a civilization as advanced as the Alvarans, but she also knew they couldn't afford to appear weak. After hours of intense discussion, the two reached a tenuous agreement. Humanity would orchestrate a show of force, a demonstration of their new capabilities, designed to send a message to the Empire without provoking outright hostility. Operation Sentinel was born. The Archangel, along with a fleet of newly built stealth ships, embarked on a carefully planned maneuver near a contested sector of space known for its strategic value. The goal was not to engage, but to make the Alvaran observers understand that humanity was no longer the passive, isolated species they once believed. The operation was a success. The Archangel performed a series of daring tactical displays, using advanced cloaking and weapon systems to outmaneuver Alvaran patrols without firing a single shot. The message was clear. Humanity was ready to defend itself, and any attempt to subjugate Earth would come at a cost too great for the Empire to bear. Back on the Alvaran homeworld, The Council was forced to reconsider. The humans had proven their ingenuity and their will to fight, even in the face of overwhelming odds. For the first time, the Empire recognized that they were not dealing with a primitive species, but with an emerging power that could alter the balance of the galaxy. Reluctantly, the Alvarans proposed a series of secret diplomatic talks. Xellor, leveraging his newfound alliance with Morris, played a pivotal role in these negotiations. The talks were fraught with tension, filled with moments where a single misstep could have plunged both civilizations into war. But through careful diplomacy, a fragile understanding was reached. The Empire agreed to recognize Earth's sovereignty and cease all hostile reconnaissance missions. In return, humanity pledged not to pursue aggressive expansion into Alvaran-controlled space. It was a delicate truce, but it was enough to avert disaster, for now. With the immediate threat of invasion diminished, humanity turned its attention to fortifying its place in the cosmos. Project Dawnwatch continued its work, evolving from a secretive group into a cornerstone of Earth's defense strategy. New alliances were formed with other species who had once feared humanity's potential, but now saw them as a vital ally against Alvaran dominance. Captain Xellor, now a reluctant hero among those who understood the true scope of his actions, continued his quiet campaign to steer the Empire toward a more peaceful future. He knew that the threat of war would never fully disappear, but he had seen enough to believe that change, though slow and fraught with danger, was possible. For humanity, the journey was far from over. They were no longer the lost, misunderstood species that had been deemed a mere weapon. They were pioneers, warriors, and diplomats, forging their own destiny among the stars. The galaxy watched with bated breath, knowing that the story of humans and Alvarans was only just beginning. And in the hearts of those who dared to dream of peace, there flickered a hope that maybe, just maybe, two civilizations could learn to coexist in a universe that had never known anything but conflict. As humanity continued to rise, whispers of their accomplishments spread across the galaxy. The boldness of Earth's escape from obscurity and their defiance of an empire that spanned millennia inspired other oppressed species, sparking a wave of quiet rebellion against the old powers. Humans, once seen as a potential weapon or a threat, became symbols of hope and resilience for those who longed for freedom. On Earth, Project Dawnwatch evolved into the official Earth Defense Coalition, a unified force of scientists, soldiers, diplomats, and explorers dedicated to safeguarding humanity's place in the stars. The Archangel and its fleet grew, and new recruits were trained not just in combat, but in the values that had brought them this far: ingenuity, tenacity, and the unbreakable will to be free. Dr. Morris and Captain Xellor remained in close, albeit secret, communication. Their unlikely alliance served as a bridge between two worlds that, while vastly different, shared a desire to avoid senseless conflict. Xellor's continued influence within the Alvaran military slowly shifted perspectives, planting seeds of doubt among those who had once viewed war as the only answer. His efforts, combined with the diplomatic finesse of Dr. Morris, helped to keep the fragile peace intact. Yet the galaxy was ever-changing, and threats loomed on the horizon. Rival factions within the Alvaran Empire began to plot, discontent with their leadership's concessions to humanity. Rogue warlords and political zealots sought to reignite the fires of conflict, seeing in humanity not a partner, but a competitor that needed to be extinguished. The peace brokered by Xellor and Morris was always on the edge of a knife, requiring constant vigilance and negotiation to maintain. But for every threat, humanity found new allies. The courage shown during Operation Sentinel had earned Earth the respect of other species, and new coalitions began to form. Trade routes were established, technological exchanges flourished, and a new era of interstellar cooperation slowly took shape. Earth was no longer a solitary outpost on the edge of the galaxy. It was becoming a central hub in a new network of civilizations that valued cooperation over conquest. As for Xellor, his legacy was one of quiet rebellion. He continued to work from within the Empire, subtly guiding it toward a future where the threat of humanity was seen not as a reason for war, but as a challenge to evolve. His name became a whispered legend among those who dared to dream of a different kind of empire, one less focused on domination and more on coexistence. Years later, a monument was erected on the first asteroid outpost where Xellor and Morris had met, a small tribute to the moment when two beings from vastly different worlds chose to defy the odds and find common ground. It was a symbol of what could be achieved when even the most unlikely of allies dared to hope. Humanity, once underestimated and dismissed, had carved out its place among the stars. They had proven that they were not just survivors, not just a weapon to be feared, but a force of change, unpredictable, unbreakable, and undeniably human. The galaxy watched, uncertain of what the future might bring. But one thing was clear: Earth would never be underestimated again. The story of humans and Alvarans was far from over. It was a story of struggle and triumph, of unexpected alliances and dangerous gambles. But more than anything, it was a story of hope, of what could happen when two species dared to believe that they could rewrite their destinies together.